So you're all here because either all of you or one of you has found a corpse, and when you turned it over, there were these horrid purple pusses all over the victim's body. You recognised it to be one of Palace's cooks. It's always the cooks that are first to die, isn't it?
Were they in red shirts?
True.
They was totally wearing the red shirt. Yeah. Yes. The issue is with this corpse, the deaths around this corpse. You had the medicine man or the general healer of Palace investigate the body. I guess mortician would probably be more apt. And they discovered that the cause of death was through disease, and the particular specimen, the particular strand of disease on the corpse was very very dangerous, and it spread through the air. And so there was a concern that everyone who's been in contact, or even anyone in like the near area around the corpse, has been infected, which would be all of you guys, pretty much everyone in Palace.
Nice.
Hot.
Yeah. And within a week, you'll stop being able to move, and a day after that, you'll die. So,
God dang it! Why did I join this?
so let's start with Sprig. Who is Sprig? What do they look like? What does everyone see?
Well, Sprig is sort of he's about like 5'11", almost 6 foot, but he's always hunched over, so he seems shorter. He's a copper skin scale dragonborn, and he always has a hood up, and he sort of seems like he's like twitching a little bit, but not really. It's more like he's sort of like shaking. Every time he looks at different people, and he's got this like pouch in his hand, and occasionally he'll just throw salt out of it at random things.
It's cocaine.
he's very superstitious.
Nice. Or just paranoid from the cocaine.
Oh yeah, or paranoid.
Krug here is my baby, but he looks nothing like a baby. He's a massive, really beefy 6'7" half-orc who does not know the meaning of hiding your weapons. He has scars all over his body from years of being in combat all the time, and he has hair like the main character from The Witcher 3. Nice. He also has a skull tattoo on his shoulder that is the essentially mark of his tribe from back in the day when he was the leader and all, before he got exiled by his son.
Nice. Okay, cool. Max, who are you playing as today?
I'm playing as Dethos, a massively tall, similarly built to Krug, rips, 8'6" Goliath, and
got those abs.
Well, decked out in full plate armor and a massive tower shield. Yeah.
I'm playing Foop Cookie Kawara.
I'm gonna have a lot of fun pronouncing that, aren't I?
You can just call him Cookie. It's fine.
Beautiful.
He's a 4 foot. Cool. He's a 4'2" catkin related to one of Max's characters, which I can't pronounce his name.
His name is Milk.
Yeah.
Milk, but I mean his full name. And
Milk and Cookie. What the fuck?
Jesus.
And so, he's a bard, and he always has like a smile on his face. He's a very chipper guy. He doesn't wear much, mostly just jewelry, because why not?
I am playing Envious. He is a tall and gruff dragonborn with pale steel blue scales, broken horns, and a scar that runs down the side of his face. Some of his teeth are broken, while his claws seem to be mistreated. Yet this beast looks solemn behind his wound, as he is 6'5", and he has two silver eyes filled with hidden knowledge. Yet wearing a dark, expensive suit for his size, he looks down at anyone who crosses his path.
Vita is a Naga. She is... sheet again. Vita is a 27-year-old Naga woman. She is basically a giant snake. At minus her whole body length, 1.7272
2,000 years later.
meters tall.
Okay.
And is 20 feet long, or...
No one cares about the math. Just keep going.
I mean, what do we see when we see the small person?
So he's about half the height of all these tall people in this group. He's about
fucking
3'2".
That's
Uh,
click.
He looks pretty young, but maybe that's just because he's a halfling and he's short. So you're not really sure. He dresses in super fancy clothes anytime that he's not expecting to be fighting,
I don't
and
know.
carries like a expensive looking ring on one finger. If he kind of carries himself with like an air of a lot of he's noble and feels like he's probably more important than you.
And you all decide, well, dying of like purple pox and stuff isn't a great thing, so we're going to try and find a cure. And you speak to this medicine person. His name is Vigor. He tells you where you can find a cure. It's a particular plant. It's extremely rare. It's found only in specific places, and he just so happens to know where you can find one. He says it's hard to reach. You'll need some climbing gear, and he's willing to sell you some climbing gear for a mere 5 gold pieces each, which you all know is a blatant ripoff.
So you're trying to profit off this dang mission when we could just, when we're around you, you're probably affected around too. Yeah! Says the other head.
Cool, yeah. So let me describe Vigor. He's like a middle-aged man. He's bald. He's got like an awesome curly mustache. He's got a big brown apron, and he's like, "Yes, but Vigor has to eat. Vigor has children. Must make them strong. Must make them big. Yes, and how better than to profit when people die? Best time, best profits." You
I have nothing to argue from this.
Vita will slither up.
Come on! He's totally profiting off the dead people here.
Doug pulls out a little bit of the rope he has in his explorer's pack and looks the guy in the eyes, and he's like, when merchants act like dicks, rope can be used for more than climbing. And he's gonna essentially try to use that to try to insinuate he should lower the price a little bit through intimidation.
Can Cookie cast suggestion on him?
Well,
This dude's a big dude, and you get the impression maybe he did a bit of combat in his younger days. He might have been an old soldier, so it's going to take a bit more than a 12.
honestly, I don't think we should piss him off.
It's
I
okay, I can handle
honestly
him.
don't care.
Sprig scuffles up to this man who looks pretty tough, and he just takes a sprinkle of salt, just like thumps it at him, and then just backs up.
Yeah.
Can Cookie walk up and there goes my phone. Can Cookie walk up and then cast suggestion on him and say,
How about you give us all this for free?
Okay, yeah, go ahead and put that in chat so I can see.
so yeah,
Suggestion. The asshole's got to make
he
a...
failed.
He's under your control for 8 hours.
Nice.
I
Okay.
just told him to give us it all for free.
Oh, God.
He doesn't. He looks off in the distance with a glazed over kind of look, and then just kind of hands over everything without making eye contact, not
Why
leaving.
did
that
you
point
do
in the
that?
Oh, thank you very much.
There's a little girl that comes behind the counter and like tugs at her dad. It's like, Papa, what do we eat today?
You know, I almost feel
Vito will
bad.
leave out the appropriate amount of money for the amount of pitons that we got.
Krug sees the little girl and actually feels kind of bad now, and he's gonna give 50 gold.
Everyone's so stingy about 5 gold, and as soon as the little girl appears, everyone's like,
I should have
"Oh, give her
opened with
50."
the little girl.
Well, okay, with Krug's backstory, he kind of seeing children that have an actually decent relationship with their parents, especially when they're in a bad spot, hits him hard.
Who here has anyone who's got higher than 12 passive perception, roll a perception check. Okay, so Arlen, you notice that the little girl actually is actually just an adult midget, and she's just got a smirk on her face as she just pockets the coins and walks behind the counter.
I just kind of wink at her and give her a little wave.
Guys, so let's just assume you're all suitably equipped now for climbing. I'm assuming now you've been given these coordinates, you're going to head over to the mirror room.
All
May
right.
as well.
All right, so you head over to the mirror room. Person in there, there's no king, no one's in the room apart from this one person, and he's got overalls. He looks like some sort of artisan, and he's hammering away at the mirror. And it doesn't look like the mirror is functioning at the moment. Do you say anything?
Sprig says, "Wait,
Why isn't our
wait,
mirror working?
Wait. And he throws salt at the mirror.
All right, so he stands up, he sprinkles some of the salt that's now all over him, and he's got a name tag. It says Scruffy. He's like, the mirror's down.
You must be the famous. You must be the famous janitor by the name of Scruffy.
That's me.
We've heard many things about you from the dwarves. They're very impressed with you.
Krug asks him where he keeps his magazines.
Out back. by the toilet.
Turlet.
I do not care where your magazines are. When will the mirror be fixed?
About a couple of days. I mean, so he kind of just goes back to his work. Do you all just kind of stand there awkwardly whilst you wait? I mean, I just will say, as player characters, you know that you do, in fact, have access to a stable in Paris. So if one were to go without mirrors, it may be better than walking to where you've got to go. I'm assuming then you make your way to the stables.
Yes.
And there is a very pale, youngish-looking lady tending to one of the horses grazing. If you've been in Palace for a while, so you know her name's Willow, and she's got permanently black hair. She's got black hair permanently covering one of her eyes. Yeah, and she doesn't talk much, but she sees you come in and just gives you a gentle nod.
Job for Cookie.
Can we get
Actually,
some horses?
She starts petting you slowly on the head, Cookie. She's got like a thick French
Like
accent.
7.
I can
Seven
probably
or
double up
six?
with someone. I'm pretty small.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
people
no.
can double up. People can double up. So.
She basically says that it's going to be 50 gold pieces to buy a horse.
How much to
I
rent?
ask if I can examine the horses.
5 gold pieces if you just want to rent them. If you want to examine the horses,
How
she
much
lets
for
you.
insurance?
Why would you need horses? Oh, yes.
Um,
Oh, yes.
it is part of the contract that you must bring the horses back, or you forfeit the price and you must pay the full price.
So I start looking some of the horses up and down, and then storm up to her and look up at her as if I'm trying to be as tall as her. And I tell her that these horses, I know a quality horse when I see one, and these don't look like they're worth anywhere near 50 gold.
She seems to take a liking to you, actually, Arlen. Her eyes one of her eyes kind of goes big.
Ooh,
She says, yes,
such a
of course.
bad boy.
And she pulls like a lead, and like from out of like a nearby stable door, like a mounted Alsatian dog comes out of the stable.
Oh, okay.
Maybe this will be more suitable for you.
The Dragonborns just kind of just start laughing really hard. They can't breathe.
But how do you react to this new prospect of an Alsatian mount? He's
Yeah.
loyal. I think you will like him.
I offer her 25 gold for the Alsatian. I
Yes.
kind of approach the dog and see how friendly it is, and
Okay,
if it
make
lets me.
animal handling. Make animal handling.
Oh,
It barks.
Gonna get fucking
It
bit.
has a bit of an angry temperament. It barks, snarls, and reveals its teeth to you.
Around and inform her it doesn't seem to be very well trained.
Krug is
Oh.
gonna try to calm it down because having angry animals is never a good
Let
thing.
me see.
Okay,
2.
that's not enough.
Eight
It
divided by
growls and
2.
barks at Krug as well. In fact, it's probably, you get the impression all these people crowding around it's not helping.
Krug
8
flips
divided
off
by
the dog
2.
and backs off.
I tell her to put the damn thing away and bring it out when she's trained it properly.
I think the dog comes around eventually. She like kind of woos it into a state of submission, and it will accept you as as its rider. Filming, like if this was a movie, there'd be someone like mounting up, probably Arlen mounting up on his little dog mount. There's like little tankards strapped to the side of the dog. And then there's like a scene wipe, and then the next scene is you guys walking on a travelled road. There's trees on the left and the right of you, and over the back of you is dusk hitting at the sky. It's getting on pretty late. Do you guys, you've been traveling for the better part of a day. You're probably a bit saddle worn. What do you guys do?
As also, when somebody's trying to start the fire for the night, Vita just takes out a little fire flask and just chucks it, and instant fire.
Kind of, look around and check out the area, make sure it's safe. There's not no fucking orc camp around. Oh god.
Seems okay to you, man. He's fine. He's funny.
Krug is going to stay up a little bit after everyone goes to sleep to watch to make sure nothing comes around.
Okay, the only thing I need to know really is let's montage this part. Then you have your fire going. Everyone gets a good night's sleep. But who's on last watch? The watch before morning.
Probably the two-headed dragonborn. I don't know.
With Click.
You see a stranger approaching. They are hooded, and you can't make out much other than the fact that the stranger's approaching. He's about 20 feet away.
Immediately whirs up, turns, and growls and barks at the stranger.
They gesture for peace by extending their arms up to say, "Look, no weapons," and they approach slowly. It's loud enough for everyone to be woken up.
The dog
Dramatic
is still
chipmunk.
on its last orders from Vita, who is curled up sleeping near the fire, and it is now running towards the man, not understanding and growling and barking, and will make a bite attack.
Back at the person.
Nice. And Arlen, like you
really
said,
mean you no harm, but are you alright? Do you need any help?
is this to the person who's being mauled by
21?
the dog? Yes,
Yeah,
that's a
they-
hit. Are you okay?
No, I'm gonna use
It's gonna make
Sanctuary
a
on them.
DC 14 strength save, or it's knocked prone.
They're gonna use
my God.
Sanctuary on him.
Oh,
Oh,
why is their strength so low?
Blizzard.
14 points of piercing damage.
I use Sanctuary on them so the dog can, stop, please.
Did
swear
you
to
do
God,
that
if it-
before the attack?
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't beat it. I have to.
So the dog misses, and
Thanks to your
found it.
Thanks to your
So, yeah.
actions, the person is now saved.
Vita
Then.
wakes up to all the commotions, like,
Vita
Click,
would wake up.
Here! Click gets up, growls at the man, and slowly click, clack, click, 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 walks back.
So yeah, your actions saved
is.
the hooded figure then from getting eaten. But does it actually stop the mecha dog from trying again? Is he still gonna go for the
No,
mecha?
Vita
He
woke up
pulled him down.
and
He called him back.
said heal.
Beneath the cloak,
Sorry.
beneath the cloak, whoever this person was, they had a cloak on them, and they take that off and reveal it's a young girl, or it was a
me,
young girl.
Dio.
The young girl is horribly mutated though. They've got like one of their hands is turned into a tentacle, and like half of their face has got like teeth exploding out of their cheeks and stuff. They look horribly mutated.
Tears welling up in his eyes, and that's it.
What are you doing out here?
I can't
you
move.
want to come and join us?
She walks over to the fire at that, actually. And yeah, she sits down next to you when you say that.
Is this a child or just like a teenage girl? Or...
Yeah, no, I'd say closer to 10.
The Click would like to make a perception check by sniffing, so it will get an advantage.
Go for it. Whilst you're doing that, the girl's got like one of those looks on her face, like she's gone through something extremely traumatic fairly recently. She's just looking off distantly in the future, and you catch her looking down at her horrible mutated tentacle arm. Yeah, for those of you who've rolled and done really well, you know that some magic has been involved in her transformation. You'd suspect maybe instead of magical spells, it's more of an alchemic nature. To get sort of results like this, though, it takes months. So it's not like someone just did this to her overnight. She would have probably been likely held down, and this would have been a slow process to slowly change her.
It's not like Pickle Rick's transformation.
No.
No, nothing like that.
Would Vita know how to cure this?
She's an
You would know
alchemist.
that there is no cure for this.
Yeah.
Krug kind of walks over to her and sits down next to her, and he asks her name.
She like tries to open her mouth, and you realise she's not got any teeth or a tongue or anything.
Does anyone? Krug looks around. And he's like, "Anyone have something she could write with?"
Well, we got some paper right here.
We have dirt on the ground.
They reach into their bag and pull out a paper and pen and hand it over.
Picks up the paper, and you see her like crumple her nose, and she looks really like she's concentrating really hard on it. And then she flips the paper around to show you, and it's a pretty picture of a flower.
While Cookie's
I
gonna
did
try
the
and lighten
same.
the situation a little bit by playing his little handheld lyre that he's got.
Nice. Yeah,
I do
performance.
know. They're gonna. The Dragon Balls are gonna attempt to play the pan flute a little.
Nice. Yeah, she's liking this. You see her like she brightens. Her face brightens with a small smile, and she kind of claps hand to tentacle. Gets up. Eventually, she gets up, and then she starts to walk back the direction she came. I mean, do you leave her to go her own way, or what are you doing?
Somebody watch my horse.
And then Cookie's just gonna run up and just try and walk alongside her. Cookie's a tiny cat. No one can be afraid of him.
Okay, actually, that's a good point. You don't need to roll, Cookie. You don't need to roll persuasion. So you run up next to her, and do you have little tiny boots?
No, he's just barefoot.
Ah, she smiles, and do you let her pat you?
Yes.
Okay, you
just
are.
not with a tentacle. That's a little weird.
Just have a tentacle rubbing the side of your face.
Oh god!
It is just
Kind
like
of wrapped around one of your ears.
So this girl successfully imprints on you, Cookie, and now you are friends.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's resolved. I think the girl's now following you. We'll move on to the next scene. There's like a fade out as this happens. I guess it's like a shot of you guys walking off into the horizon. This time it's dawn, and there's at the front Cookie and the little girl, and then everyone else following behind. And of course we've got Click and the other Doge there too. It fades out and then fades back up on a scene with you guys on top of a large hill. On the travel road, and the travel road goes downwards, and you look down upon the valley in front of you. But it's made of jungle. It's where the alpine forest leaves and stops, and the jungle meets it. Flash, and then the scene like fades into you're further into the jungle now, and actually in the distance it's gotten a lot hotter. By the way, those of you with sensitive nipples or just sweat and stuff would have probably stripped down a bit just to the bare essentials. But you've
Krug's
waded
already
into...
only wearing the bare essentials.
Yeah, you're probably in a thong, like, or what's the word, a freaking loincloth at this point. And yeah, the jungle noises have gotten stronger and more varied, and you've waded into this jungle. So in the distance, you can see the crags, which is this area the old man told you about, where you could find this rare plant. The crags, I have a picture, actually. Let me find this for you. It looks kind of, there's a series of rock towers, actually. And there's a number of them. In between these towers is mist, like thick mist. If you've been to China or have seen this, there's certain parts of China that look like this. So imagine something like this, large rock towers.
Pillars.
Yeah,
Nice.
pillars. That's it. Yeah, large rock pillars. Lots of them. Some of them range like up to couple hundred feet. Up ahead, you see there is still some section of the jungle left, but we are very much entering crag territory. You're on the edges of the jungle. And up ahead, I'm going to change the scene. Up ahead, you can see a river, actually. The terrain splits in two by a river. And there's a rope bridge joining the two. And on top of this rope bridge is a lizard person, a man, a humanoid, covered in scales with a lizard face. And he's giant. And I'm going to move you over to the scene in 2 seconds. Yes. Out of game, it's a lizard folk, and this dude's a big dude.
Hello.
I'm gonna move your tokens over. To the back, you see a cart full of goods, and you don't see any dead bodies, so it's a good sign.
The name Snapjaw is gonna be Vietnam flashbacks to Caves of Cud.
Would Krug know if they were had knowledge of any
Does anyone
barbarian
here speak
tribes?
Draconic?
The Dragonborn raises its hand.
Good. You are going to be our translator.
Cookie will walk forward confidently, like
Greetings!
Krug's gonna
Darling,
follow closely behind.
Try Draconic.
I can't speak Draconic!
Are you walking?
Don't talk to them.
yes, Cookie's walking.
Make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Shit.
Should I make one too?
You were first, Cookie, so yes. If you were right behind Cookie, Krug, go ahead.
Okay.
You're walking, I'm assuming, as well, Krug?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I
And
mean,
how does inspiration work?
you can.
It gives you advantage.
Yes.
I am using that on that because I
Okay.
don't need to fail wisdom saves anymore ever again.
You're looking at specifically this giant dude. I assume he's taking your attention, right? And you're
Yeah.
looking at the terrain around you. You see rustling in the background behind him, like something rustle. The trees move in a way that suggests maybe that's not the wind blowing them.
Cookie will keep walking forward.
Hello?
And Craig's gonna keep on behind him.
Can you say something?
It's like, who speaks Draconic?
Cookie just looks back at the Dragonborn that's with us.
Oh,
have
okay,
heard
so
him.
I did.
And
You would have,
if
okay.
this was like Game of Thrones, there'd be like yellow subtitles underneath, and it was like, who there comes before Snapjaw?
So he looks to Snapjaw and says in Draconic that they're just passing through.
And he like points towards this sign, and like in crudely written scribble chicken scratchings, it says "pay toll." It's spelled PhyTholl.
It looks like Russian to me from this like zoom.
This is a very expensive adventure.
So Sprig looks back and is like, they want money. How much, kind sir? He says in Draconic.
It says, "What you got?"
Ah shit.
Present Snapjaw an offering.
Pretty much how he would have said it. What you got?
Sprig and Cookie.
Yes.
You guys notice it's getting kind of hard to walk on this mud, you know. And then you peer down, you notice actually your ankles are sinking into the floor.
Ah, shit.
Can Krug like reach over to try to get Cookie out of that?
Ryan, how fast is the river flowing?
Would it be too fast to swim across?
Probably.
I'm going to give you this for free. If you was to jump in there and swim, you probably see the crocodiles in there. And you also see that there's a 20-foot climb on the other end.
Krug is gonna try to pull Cookie out of the mud.
Hey, go for an athletics check.
It's one of my better skills.
Completely long enough. Vita will turn around and offer her tail to Sprig.
Actually, you're looking for a 15, so you're just shy of pulling him out. But you're making some progress. He's getting pulled like a couple inches out. I'm gonna just assume you guys get Cookie out eventually, and you just know to avoid this area here. Yeah, I mean, so Snapjaw's looking at you, licking his reptilian lips. What do you do?
Krug was holding out his hunting trap and offering before all this happened for the toll.
He laughs at you. He says, in Draconic, "We have many traps."
They say they have plenty. Speak to him in Draconic. He goes, so you want like gold or like, do you want what?
He says, "I want shiny things, things of value. I want things to hit my enemies with."
Sprig decides he would go a little less than gold, since silver pieces are also shiny.
Copper.
Okay. How much?
Electrum.
10 obviously makes a gold piece, so probably give him about 12. He just has 12 silver pieces in his hand, and he's just like, shiny?
This is basically the amount you offer decides the DC, so go ahead and roll a persuasion check for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, he's not taking that. He just drops it to the floor. Some of them fall between the cracks of the bridge and fall into the water, and you hear them drop.
Minus 12 silver.
I'm going to say this before you do anything else, guys. He doesn't look impressed, and he moves his free hand up in like one of those gestures that's the commanders use to fire off for an arrow volley. He like does that gesture with his hand.
Vita immediately throws a vial of fire at the bridge. Vita will aim for the rope bridge and Snapjaw if possible.
Okay, let's roll initiative then, shall we, everyone?